So we have known that we have got 4 mechanisms. Each has got a variable contribution to the heat loss, but heat loss will vary depending on the infant's growth, illnesses and environmental factors. So the estimated percentage of heat loss, as I showed in the table, when the baby is 30 degrees centigrade, is different from the temperature at 30 degrees centigrade. So if you take radiation, in radiation, when temperature is 30 degrees, the percentage of heat loss is 43%. When the temperature increases, as you see here, the heat loss will become 24% only. Similarly, convection heat loss. If convection heat loss at 30 degrees is more, when temperature increases, the heat loss will become less. In evaporation, if temperature is less, the heat loss is more at 30 degrees, whereas if the temperature increases 36 degrees centigrade, the heat loss will be more. So it is in conduction, as you see here, in 30 degrees it is only 4% at 30 degrees, and 36 degrees, because temperature is more, conductive heat loss is less. So as you see, depending on the temperature, these 4 mechanisms of heat loss happens at different percentages. It is not the same at all levels. Coming to conduction, heat loss is due to contact, as we already described. Conductive heat loss contributes only minimal to the energy expenditure. So it depends again on the thermal conductivity of the mattresses where the babies are kept. Especially it is very low in incubators and if baby is under radiant warmers. As the surface already warm, the temperature heat loss by conduction is less here. Skin adjacent to colder subjects, for example, if you are using a radiograph plate for taking an X-ray, or you keep any cold object in contact with the baby, there will be loss of heat from the body to the colder surface. This is what is described as conductive heat loss. Convection heat loss, as we already mentioned, it happens by flow of air, heat loss to the air flow. Again, it is determined by air flow around, how fast the air is blowing, and same time mean temperature of the ambient air, mean temperature. And apart from that, we again exposed area, how far the baby is exposed to this air flow is again makes a difference in convective heat loss. Whereas coming to different incubators can influence degree of convective heat loss. For example, different air flows. Incubators have got different air flows and different humidities. So these two, again depending on the walls, like single wall or double wall incubator, have influence on the heat loss due to convection. Evaporative heat loss is when the water vapor evaporates from the skin or breath. So the major cause of heat loss following delivery happens due to large surface of the skin relative to his or her body mass, and especially wet surfaces because of the amniotic fluid. And we have to remember that head is a major surface area having a lot of hair, which actually holds a lot of wetness from the amniotic fluid. So we need to try to dry as much as possible hair, otherwise there will be excessive heat loss because of evaporation from the hair because of wetness. One point about relative skin surface area, the more premature the newborn, there is larger the relative surface area, as I showed you in this table, where in the adult the relative surface area is only 250 centimeters square per kg. If the, for example, if the baby is too small, like 500 grams, the skin surface area will become 1400 centimeter per kg. So as we all know, if surface area increases, there is loss of heat is more, whereas in adults, because surface area is less, heat loss is less. So the newborns or the premature babies with low weight have more relative skin surface area, thereby more chance of losing heat from the surface.